You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leck.
And I'm your host and new Rope Break champion, Ryan Legend Killer Whitman.
That's right, yeah. He's our new current, yeah. He's like Roman Reigns. So, together we are
Rope Break.
And how's every single one of the family right here? We're talking about Smackdown. Today, of course, we have Smackdown from the ThunderDome. And this show, overall, I think it was not that great. But it had, good things for future storylines. And, the road for Clash of Champions has started. And I think that we're all excited because the thing that we were waiting for finally happened today. And that is, Bayley actually turning against Sasha. So that was cool. So guys.
That's what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about the hour-long Paul Heyman promo.
No.
That put me to sleep. At the start of the show.
No. I don't.
Oh, okay.
We're not talking about that. That was actually for me same garbage as Brock Lesnar. So I'm like, is this Brock Lesnar 2.0? I'm like, reigning, defending. Can you change the speech? But let's hear from the champion. Champ, what do you think about the show?
I think it was a show that it had its moments where it shined very brightly, but then I would say the rest of the show, outside of those big moments, the big storyline developments, that just kind of fell flat for me.
Yeah, it felt really flat. So, family, thank you so very much for being with every single one of us. Remember, we had great stuff. Of course, we did NXT. We had a great video previews and predictions for AEW. We had not a champ. We had a special guest, Glenn Davidson from Wrestling All Day, All Night. So please check that out. It was good, and we're really waiting for All Out. So, a lot of the stuff right there. Tony Khan and Robert Stone saying that Double or Nothing knocked the crap out of, WrestleMania. So, what do you guys think about that? Let's start with, Jean-Paul.
What's he saying? Just, he thought that quality of the show was better than WrestleMania?
Yeah. It was way better than WrestleMania. Double or Nothing.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't,
flat out, no, I don't think so.
It's it's different. WrestleMania never lives up to the hype anymore, but, WrestleMania, just Drew winning and, it had some good moments to me. I'm like, no, that's, that makes it more legit because, I'm a big fan of Drew McIntyre, so.
Yeah, no, Legend Killer, what do you think, Double or Nothing or WrestleMania? Is Tony Khan, just, talking out of his ass, or is actually being truthful?
I think he's talking out of his ass. Because, Double or Nothing was in May, right?
Yeah, around May, yeah.
So he said in the interview how, they were working with the same circumstances, but they had an extra month and a half to prepare for that, where it was Mania hit, and then there was only 2 weeks between everything kind of going to shit, and then Mania was 2 weeks later. They were still planning on having Mania at the stadium.
Yes.
2 weeks before it even happened. So they really had to just kind of go on the fly, and I think they did a good job with Mania.
I agree.
Oh, so, yeah, definitely.
But All Out is going to be really cool. So, guys, we're going to be covering all of that. But now, let's talk about SmackDown. And like Jean-Paul was saying, hour-long, promo from the new Universal Champion, not the Robert Champion. See, Ryan doesn't have, those long, boring promos. So, we had Roman Reigns, actually, with Paul Heyman. They came out to the ring. And, of course, the same garbage as usual. Right there, guys. A complete Roman Reigns looking like Brock Lesnar, at least for my taste. And Paul Heyman pretty much spewing the same thing that he's been saying about Brock Lesnar. Same kind of speech, same kind of verbiage. I don't know if I'm really behind this. I think that it should be taking another perspective. It's not oh yeah, you're just representing Roman Reigns. I think that Reigns should talk a little more. I don't think that Paul Heyman is to me really needed. In the case of Brock Lesnar, I can understand why, because they were paired up in the past. But this, to me, I'm still not behind this. I do not like it. So, Jean-Paul.
For this, when he first started and he was saying stuff you guys didn't care about Roman when he wanted to be out because of Corona. He didn't want to risk his health. Nobody respected him. That kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, I can understand that. That's maybe what started him to want to turn heel and everything. But then once he went into the whole, he's the reigning, defending. It's oh my, here, you said, it's the same shit. But then when Roman talked, Roman in a heel role, especially on the mic, isn't bad at all. So you don't need Paul Heyman. I think Paul Heyman's in the movies when there's the clone and there's the evil one. The evil clone always has the goatee and the good guy's clean shaven. Paul Heyman is literally just the goatee. It's just to signify that, Roman is heel now. when we don't need that. When we like Roman can just be heel on his own.
It's not needed. That's what I mean. Like I don't understand the point. It doesn't make any sense to me. But like, let's hear from like Legend Killer. Like, what do you think, Ryan? Do you like this? Like, or are you indifferent? What are your thoughts on this?
Here's where I'm going to go. The lone wolf here. I'm actually a huge fan of this. I'm a Paul Heyman guy. I'm a huge Paul Heyman mark. So hearing him do the promos, he hooked me in. So I mean, maybe bullshit for that, but what I liked about this promo in particular was that he did give a reason to why he's with Roman Reigns. He said, he was, cast aside. He was a champion. He was doing all these great things for the company. Battled leukemia. He beat it, but then it just kind of pushed him to the side when he, went away. Didn't even mention him, nothing. And then same for when, Lesnar lost the title. Heyman got pushed to the side. Nobody cared about him. Nobody talked about him. So I think there's a reason here. And I don't know if the relationship is going to last, but I think it's at least a stepping stone to maybe give Reigns maybe a more legit heel push right now.
Yeah, no, I think that it can get better. At least for me, I see you like it and good. But like to me, I just like think that Roman heel, like the promos need to be more him. Meaning like, hey, like the promo from like a heel that you always wanted to hear. Hey, you guys never supported me. You called me crap. You always like be like just wanted me to go away. You guys celebrated when I had cancer. Things like that. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, like fuck all of you. I don't want to hear from you. It's like now, see, and like he's saying in his promo right here. He said, I promised you that I was gonna sign. Promised you that I was gonna be a Payback, and I promised you that I was gonna win the title. What did I do? Do every single thing that I just said. It's like in whoever like comes to Clash of Champions, I'm just gonna like beat them. I'm gonna steal champ. So pretty much he already told you the result of Night of Champions or like Clash of the Champions. So I mean, I see that part I do like because that's a heel saying, hey guys, whatever you guys think, whatever you guys like has ever thought about me, it doesn't really matter because Vince loves me. I just need to like be one day in the office, and I'm gonna be champ 6 months. I can go whatever I want. So like to me, that's kind of like the golden, like the prick. So that's at least exciting for me. But like Jean Paul is saying, I don't know if Heyman is really needed. But see, you like that, Ryan? We'll see where that goes.
Yeah, the only quick thing I just want to say then move on is the inclusion of Heyman. A lot of people, it's like, oh, Lesnar, his contract is done. They think he's going to go to AEW or maybe back to UFC for a while. I could see UFC, but I think he'll come back. I think this whole Heyman thing is like a work. I think eventually it'll be like, here I am with like Lesnar anyway, and then have 2 F5s and done, and Lesnar's new champ.
Yeah, well, like, what I did here, guys, is like they're actually hold on into Lesnar, like meaning like, hey, if you want to do a UFC match, whatever, we don't need you right now because the main thing with Lesnar is like you want to like have him on when there's crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no crowd. Like, do you really want to pay this guy $3 million for like just like being the ThunderDome? So like, they're actually thinking more money wise right there. So, like, I want to ask both of you, now that we're talking about money, let's start with, like, Legend Killer, like, current champ, Ryan. What do you think about this news that, like, broke down today that, like, Vince McMahon for completely banned the WWE superstars from, like, a third-party, like, initiatives, like Twitch, YouTube, like, all of those things, because mainly AJ Styles revealed that he had COVID in one of his, like, tweets. And in one of, like, the road break, like, lives that we do, he pretty much said that, like, he had COVID. Like, so, like, do you support that? Or are you one of those people that, oh, fuck Vince McMahon because, like, he's not allowing them to do this?
I think they should be allowed to do it. I think it's kind of shitty that he's saying, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. Now, I get it in the terms of, like, if AJ Styles is going on and he's acting like he's AJ Styles and not, his real life persona, then maybe, like, okay, don't go on and gimmick and do this on, a third-party Twitch, YouTube, whatever. But if the wrestlers are just being themselves, then what's the issue with that? And what I'm really curious about is then what would this mean for up, up, down, down? Because that's been going on for quite some time now. I don't see them just pushing that to the side.
Yeah, that's like Xavier.
Well, especially, show, right? Well, with that and the Power Positivity podcast, that's all like, and Corey Graves, his After the Bell, it's all stuff that is like it's under the WWE umbrella, and they said they're rolling out some new initiative that's like maybe they're gonna do their own video game streaming thing, like to I don't know what their whole plan is, but like I agree with what you said. Like if AJ went on there, he's like, oh, this is subscribe to Alan Jones. Okay, what are you going to do? Copyright his real name? But there was in quotes where Vince says, I own your gimmick name and your real name if you're under contract.
In the contract, it says that, like, they own, like, Jean-Paul Egg and Jean-Paul Leec. You know,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
your real name. Yes. Yeah. So like, I just think that like if you work for a company, you just always got to be careful of what you say. It doesn't matter whether you're in gimmick or not. You know, and I think that's the technicality of it. It's just, hey, you should have not said that.
Yeah, and
Anything else?
when
Anything
AJ
else?
when AJ said that, and then we can move on so we don't go too off topic. But when AJ said that, he was still on the show. You know, like
Yeah.
he wasn't off TV for maybe 1 week he might have missed, but he was still on TV, and it's like he could have spread it to other people.
That and see, like that's exactly
That's
why.
where the backlash came from, and then it's like AJ, you dumbass, like you shouldn't have. But then that's also WWE for maybe they should do more than just checking people's temperature.
Well,
they
yeah,
should do
and,
the
well, and
legit
also
test.
Renee Young. That's the main reason that she's leaving. Like she will not say it, but she kind of said it. Like she called us. She called Ryan. She called me. She said, "Dude, like the main reason is because they got so mad at me that like said, so we're not gonna support you anymore." And all that because she just went out and just tweeted like, "Oh, I have COVID." So like just be careful if you're a public figure. Watch what you say. It doesn't matter if it is your own Twitch, whatever.
I guess the only person who can say they have it and they're unaffected is The Rock.
Oh well, yeah. Well, of course, the Rock is untouchable. Like if they will ever lose that relationship with the Rock, they're done. They're absolutely done. So let's go move on. Like you said, good job on like giving me your inside guys, but like on the things that are already done. Otis, Heavy Machinery going against John Morrison and The Miz. This was like I don't know the point of it. I just didn't get it. I mean, I like that Heavy Machinery one because at least it's are a good tag team. But again, you got to keep jobbing out Morrison and The Miz. I don't understand it. So like Jean Paul, let's go.
And also speaking about jobbing out, I know Otis is Mr. Money in the Bank. He's banging Mandy. He probably having the best. Yeah, he's probably having the best 2020. Out of anybody. But why does he have to be the superstar? And then Tucker, who is the better wrestler, he's bigger. He's the one who's always jobbing. He's the one who's always getting beat down, and then like he has to make the hot tag to like the shorter, rounder guy.
He's Tucky, Jean Paul. Tucky.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I'm like, but I love Heavy Machinery. They're a legit team. I know they're Orion's, tag team of the, halfway point of the year. So, they're a legit team. And I agree, Miz and Morrison, I don't know why they got to get jobbed out. They're not doing anything. The one thing I did like, commentary said, the winner of this match could have tag team title implications at some point. So, okay, a match actually means something. It's not just random. So that I'm like, okay, I'll give them a +1. But, the right team won. It was okay. Morrison is a hell of a wrestler. Miz is the Miz, so.
Yeah, let's go with, like, Legend Killer. Like, so, like, you like this kind of matches? Or it's just like, it's just maybe 10 minutes that I can go to the bathroom?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like an important match to watch. It's like, one of those matches where if you miss, like, 5-10 minutes of it, you just kind of hear the bell. You're like, oh, all right, Heavy Machinery run, cool. Like, you don't feel like you missed anything. I agree with Sean Paul. It's very unfortunate that Miz and Morrison's are the one taking the pin here and jobbing out. I mean, they have so much potential. They could be doing so many better things right now. It's like it's getting to the point where, like, maybe just break them up and have them feud against each other.
And that's what, like, Jean Paul has been saying. Like, see, like, this is, like, really? I mean, like, like, a whole, like, he did a Santon, right? Or, like, he did, like, something like that. And see, this is the worst part of it. Like, because, like, John Morrison actually steals the Money in the Bank briefcase. So
this is just going to continue on the feud, and I mean, hopefully, since the Money in the Bank briefcase is more of a singles, thing, it's obviously not for tag teams. Maybe this is the start of the John Morrison singles run, because the Miz to me is useless. Like he does that Cannonball show. He has the Miz and Mrs. Like stick with that for like slowly just ride off into the sunset with your bullshit career. And just, or like, I guess I shouldn't say a bullshit career, just bullshit, like, ability. Like, his career, if you look at the accomplishments, are good, but in the ring, it's like, yikes. He's good at promo, but that's about as far as that goes.
He needs to be heel, but he needs to be the main guy, for people to really get behind the Miz. But, like, I feel that, like, with Morrison, they just see Morrison as such a better wrestler. Mm-hmm. So, they see, like, okay, you're good, but, like, he's always better. Good, better. Good, better. So yeah, but like, see, like right there. It's like, oh, dude, are you like you have a cameo? No, McMahon didn't touch me. I'm just gonna steal the briefcase. So it becomes a little childish for me. I don't know if I like this, Ryan. Like, does it become for you? Like, do you think it's like, oh my gosh, this is like cringy? Is this like, can I? Maybe I don't mention this on the show when I do rope break.
Yeah, it's stealing the briefcase. Like, I mean, it seemed like one of those ideas that they get, like, oh, this is going to be great, let's put this on TV. And then you see it on TV, you're like, why the hell are they doing this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, like, even then, looking at Otis and how he reacted, you'd think he'd be more upset about Morrison stealing the briefcase, but he was just like, oh.
Yeah, he's still in the thing. Yeah, he's still in the thing.
Well, and I guess that's because of what we found out later in the night, because he did come out with the little lunch pail and then also the Money in the Bank briefcase. So, we found out the secret. But, yeah, I agree with both you guys. Like, it is childish. Vince McMahon probably thought of this gimmick at, like, 7:55. He's like, oh, have John Morrison steal it. And they got to, like, oh, well, we got to redo the script real quick. And, yeah, I just don't like it because it continues on this feud.
It's,
you know what I mean? It's like,
it's just, it's cringy. More cringy we go to this. Because before we go to this, like, they were supposed to have, like, a fatal four-way. This was announced, like, whoever wins is going to be the number one contender for Roman Reigns' title. So it was Sheamus, Big E, and Matt Riddle and King Corbin. But we go to, actually, I think it was Xavier Woods' birthday, right? That's what like they said, right? So, like, we get to see a pretty childish Drew Gulak. So, like, that's another, like, thing. Poor guy. He resigns, and that's what they get him to do. Poor guy. But anyway, so, like, he's saying, oh, yeah, this is a big night for me. I'm going to become number one contender. He's really excited. All of that. And then he says, well, somebody comes to him and is like, hey, Big E, hey, you got a guy, like, Xavier is here. So, like, he comes like a stupid baby face, and then he goes, like, to look for Xavier. But then he gets attacked by the fella. And then he got his ass kicked. He got a bro kick. And then I really like, though, the spot with, like, he did the white noise on top of the car. What do you guys think on that?
Oh, yeah, the white noise. I mean, it was legit. And this is just to save. There it is. This is just to save Big E for later on. Big E, I guess they're proving me wrong. I said, the singles push won't go far because Kofi's coming back. I think that, I'm not going to say all in, and they're going to give him the belt.
No, because all out, Jumbo. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Excuse me. All out on Saturday. Watch the review, rope break. But I think that they're just saving Big E for a bigger show. I don't know what or when, but this is just the way because, Roman's not going to lose a Clash of Champions. Well, this is going to be a long title reign for Roman. They're not going to play hot potato. They were like, okay, The Fiend, bullshit, Braun Strowman, okay. The only reason that Roman didn't have it at Mania up until, this point today is because of COVID and his leukemia and stuff. So, those other two champions, Goldberg, all those guys, like, that was just, that was pointless.
Yeah, and so, like, let's go with Legend Killer. Like, Ryan, white noise on top of the car. Legit? Or, like, so bullshit?
Oh, yeah, legit spot. I thought it's smart. It makes sense for running Big E out of that Fatal 4-Way match. Because as much as, like, I would love to see him with that titles run, it's too soon right now. Because I think that they are actually booking it pretty good. Like, I'm a fan of how they're doing it. But what I've seen people saying ever since Reigns won the belt at Payback, and I agree with this sentiment, is that the ideal scenario would be, Big E maybe get that Rumble win and then have that Mania main event of Reigns and Big E. Might be a pipe dream, might happen, who knows. But the one thing that bothered me with this backstage segment was that I feel like you see it a lot. You see a wrestler do like a random move. So like Sheamus did the bro kick and then went to the garage door and then Big E was done. But if that happens like in the ring, like he'd be right back up in like 20 seconds. But because he hits a garage door from like 6 inches away from it, like he's done.
They're done. Yeah, see? Ryan picked up on those things.
Oh,
I like
exactly.
I like that.
Wrestling logic.
Right there, that's why he's Legend Killer. He has to study all of that so he can beat both of us. And right now, he's the current Robrick champion, so that's legit. But see, that's the thing that like is like dumb. And this thing, of course, like you said, is like to prevent Big E to be in the match and to take care of him, to look, to see what's happened next. I agree with you, Jean Paul, but see, I agree with you, Ryan. Also, like I think that like if they make him look better, a little bit more intense, not like too like New Day, I will get behind him because like athleticism, everything. Big E is just great, but it's just like set a little bit aside of the New Day, not like the pancakes, not and he kind of like acts stubborn about it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep doing that, but to me that will be like Kofi 2.0, and you want to do is just like you want to set aside from Kofi. Kofi got away with it. But I don't think that like we will want to see in 2 WrestleManias, not back to back because of COVID, but kind of like with crowd back to back, like you see like the same pancakes and the same title celebration. I don't think so. At least not for me. But see, like guys, like let's move on to like the next segment, and that was like the tag team women's championship match. So this was to me like the main part of the show. I was really excited because this match was at least really good. At least I liked it. So let's start with Legend Killer. Did you like this, Ryan?
Yeah, I thought the match was fine. I'm not a fan of Baszler and Jax as tag champions at all. I'm not a fan of Jax. I think Baszler, I think she should stay in a singles run, but I mean, she's champion right now, so my opinion doesn't matter clearly. But really, what matters is what happens after this match, and that's basically what it was a fine match. But I think everyone's going to forget about the match itself.
Yeah,
because what we saw was one of the probably more memorable beatdowns that we've seen in recent history.
In the recent days, exactly. So, see, before Jean-Paul, I want to ask you, they asked the Golden Role Models, like, hey, you lost the championships. Are you guys like, you having a strategy? And Bayley goes, well, when we faced them the first time, we didn't know how they were going to, fight. We didn't know anything about it. It was the first time they were going to be a tag team, so we were not prepared for it. But this time, we are going to get our own payback. And we're going to get our titles one more time. And then Sasha went and said, well, pretty much praising Bayley for everything that she's done, that the longest SmackDown champion. And, I happen to be her friend. She's, one of the best wrestlers in the whole company. So you could see that, every time WWE does that, too much of praise, you see that something's going to happen. So the praise kind of signifies that something's going to,
And commentary was already trying to turn Sasha babyface even during the match. Oh, her injured leg. Oh, look how she fights back. And all the for some reason, 2 weeks ago, it's, oh, Sasha and Bayley are fucking bitches. They're assholes. We hate them. Then she loses the Raw Tag Team Championship and the tag titles, and now it's, oh, poor Sasha. She's going through so much. I'm like, really? That's the commentary's so shit, but they were really trying to sell that, she's clearly going to be babyface, but it's like, how is she babyface? They're both heels, and then it's like, oh, you realize, like Ryan said, after the match was the main thing. It's like, oh, then Bayley, we know what she does. But just quick touch on the match. I mean, the match was like, it was just it's the plate. You don't care about the plate, you care about the food on top of the plate. And, it was just carrying the food to us. So the match is what it was. Like, what were they going to do? Win the tag titles back and then Bayley turns on her? How much sense would that have made? But Baszler's legit, and I think she helps make up for Nia's, lack of, wrestling talent. But, that's pretty much it.
I think so. The match, I think it was pretty decent. It was not like what we saw in Payback. I think Payback was a lot better because of the submissions. But it had its moments.
I like some of the spots.
I think it was good, yeah.
Yeah, I like the spots where she had Sasha kind of had her legs almost like the first part of the Muda lock before she leans back, and then she was almost going to do that same thing with the Kirifuda clutch, and the Bayley, I think, did a belly to belly or something.
Yes.
So they countered.
Yeah,
and so it was like, oh, you're not going to get us with that again. So there was some wrestling and some logic and some good stuff in it, but like I said, you just knew. You were just watching. You weren't even paying attention to the match. You were just paying attention to okay, when's the heel turn coming? When's this? That's all you.
I like when also I like how they were had Nia and Shayna had Bayley and Sasha on top of their arms, and they were leaning against the barricade.
Oh, swinging them into the barricade, yeah.
Like that, and I think I texted you. I'm like, okay, Nia's gonna botch this, poor Sasha.
Oh well, no. If you actually watch that, when you watch it, Nia is literally just holding Sasha, and Sasha is all just moving herself.
Yeah, because if actually Nia moves, then Sasha.
Yeah, if Nia swung her, she would have snapped in half.
Well, worth mentioning, they took Big E to a local facility because they're not allowed to say hospital. But I think what happened with Sasha, she went to the same local facility. But right there, she pretty much ended up winning the match with a double crossbody on top of Bayley and Sasha. And I think that's, I don't know if you can call that an insult because of that big she is, that she was able to pin both at the same time. But pretty much that's how they retained their titles. It was a good ending. I liked it. I didn't have a problem with it.
I didn't like the crossbody. I didn't like the crossbody just because I feel like if it was one of them, oh, definitely. But two of them, I'm really, they should have been able to push her out. But it was what it was.
I actually liked it. I actually thought that it was good because it's she's. I don't want to say it, but I guess I have to. I'll get the heat from she's that big that she is able to dominate both of them. So now Legend Killer add something to this. Match and the ending. Did you like it? Double crossbody on both of them?
Like Sean Paul said, I think it's an insult to Bayley and Sasha to do that to them. Just crossbody then done. something to mention is I think Sasha did such a great job selling the knee injury there towards like the latter past like last quarter of the match. She was
Yes.
selling it, and just some of those spots that they did then, like she was like hanging from the top rope, and then Shane just like bashed her knee into the corner. Like that was a really good.
I actually see like that. That's why we had the Legend Killer, because he reminded me of that. When she hit when she injured the knee, that was really cool.
Yeah.
The sound of it, like, and then like that was cool. I really like that. So like they retain like that. You can see like Shayna Baszler. Like I don't know like if you can ever take a good picture of Shayna Baszler, but that's all I can say. I don't know if the camera.
I mean I like sometimes when I look at her, I thought she's a Rick Steiner, the dog-faced gremlin.
Yeah, and,
I was all like, ooh, but she's a hell of a wrestler.
Because I really love Shayna. Shayna is amazing, but like I don't know if the camera can do any justice or like any good Photoshop. But aside of that, guys, the main thing is like, see, Sasha is injured. She refuses the help from like the medical staff. Completely, don't touch it. Don't touch it. It's like, don't harass me. None of that. Completely refuses right there. So see, so like she's selling the injury. But then the biggest part of the show. That's the main thing in the show. Finally, Bayley turns against Sasha. Finally, did you guys expected it? I wasn't. I didn't think it was gonna happen today. But like, you're right. Did you think it was gonna happen?
I didn't think it would happen tonight, just because the way that they've been teasing it over the past month is that you just kind of assume that they're gonna keep going that route. But then I guess that's something that maybe they do well, because then you think, okay, we're going to keep going through Clash of Champions, maybe. They'll do another rematch there. But then, nope, swerve. And they hit you right there with the turn. And now we can really, buckle in, because it's going to be a great ride with this feud that's going to heat up.
It's finally, yeah, like you, Paul. What happened when you see this? You were like,
you could have. Well, one thing I just want to quick say, I hate when every time a wrestler gets hurt and the paramedics are like just trying to do their job and have make sure your injury doesn't get any worse. They have to act like they're a tough guy, like don't touch me. Even a babyface like Keith Lee was like, don't touch me on NXT. I'm like, really?
Don't touch me, Jean Paul.
Like, can you just accept the help? It's like, oh, like, do you need help moving this box? No. It's like, okay, like, can I live? But
this shot, yes.
But it's just dumb. But the turn happening here, once everybody kind of cleared the ring and it was just Bayley and she's just kind of standing there like, so, and then she starts kicking her when Sasha tries to like, roll out, onto the floor. I kind of saw it coming, but I think a lot of people didn't, because they just took forever to do this. You didn't think it was ever going to happen. That you could have, and also nobody thought, Clash of Champions is where their big blow-off's going to be.
Yeah.
But it looks like that's where it's going to be, because WWE, they don't know how to book anything. This should have been done at SummerSlam. You should have booked the big money match at SummerSlam between these two, but, they didn't. And what's the next big pay-per-view coming up? Like Survivor Series? They're not stretching this out to November. God, people will literally not care by then if you stretch it out till November.
I don't know. That's all I can tell you about that. Like Ryan was saying, though, like I think it was a really great beatdown. Bayley took his time. They took like two segments out of the show, so that was really cool. And see, she ends up going like this, even like the old school way. She put like the chair in between like the neck and everything, and boom.
Yeah, that was legit.
Yeah, she took care of Sasha Banks, like look like that. Done. So she really kicked the crap out of Sasha. I think that like you could see the intensity in Bayley. You could feel like see how bad Sasha is. Done now. Done. And then but see the smile. Like I wanna like touch upon this a little bit. Look how sinister, and it's not Avenged Sevenfold for Ryan. It's not sinister from him. Let's see the smile. There. Yeah, there you go. But like see how like legit, like this is like how you supposed to like act as a heel. Like see, I know I did wrong, but I enjoyed that I did it wrong. I enjoy that, like, I finally, like, beat this bitch that I've been calling my friend for such a long time. And now, I finally beat the crap out of you. So, guys, like, are you happy with how it turned out? Or, like, it could have been better?
Oh, yeah. The only thing I just didn't like is that it's going to be a Clash of Champions, and that's, like, where it's leading to. Because I don't think that there's going to be a match after this. I think it's going to be... Sasha is the baby face. She's going to get her revenge, and then, done. But, I mean, the beatdown in itself, every way they, was executed, it was legit. And you said the
Oh, yeah.
facial expressions, the sell job by Sasha. I thought it was great.
Oh yeah, and like I said, she was also taken out to a local facility, the same local facility. She's right next to Biggie. So
Yeah.
Ryan, your thoughts on the whole thing?
The way that I can picture them doing it is that I can't see with a beatdown like this. I can't see them possibly having her just show up next week on SmackDown, all like calling out Bayley like nothing, like like she wasn't just brutalized basically. So what I'm thinking is that she'll be written off TV, I think, for a little bit, and then maybe in a few weeks we'll get like a live via satellite kind of situation of her, like she'll have like a neck brace on and all that. But like October's coming up, so I'm thinking Hell in a Cell is the October pay-per-view. So I think that would be, assuming that Hell in a Cell is the October pay-per-view, because the way they change the schedule up all the time.
No, you're right.
I think a Sasha Bayley Hell in a Cell match could definitely be in our future.
See,
That would be legit, especially if he calls him out like Shawn Michaels, like Triple H, like, "Oh, I'll be back by SummerSlam." It's like, okay,
I think that like that's how they should do it. How Ryan just described, that's how they should do it. Like write her off for like a month.
The only thing I will say on that is that's how they should, but how they will.
Well, sure and will, but like, see, like he's Ryan is actually getting a little bit of like the booking from Jean Paul, so it's good.
He is.
I really like it. Like I guess holding a championship gives you those booking abilities. So like, I think it's gonna, if they do it like that, it's gonna be even better.
Definitely.
Remember, a rivalry like that has to end where, Ryan? Jean Paul. Hell
in a cell.
But like, if they don't do that, if it's Clash of Champions, fuck that. I'm done. I don't want to see it. Even they did the Untold, with Sasha and Bayley and Jean Paul, so he cried. So like, I really think that like they have to go that route. And moving along, guys. But see, that was the best part of the show for me. Jey Uso. Jey Uso was actually the one that like had a conversation with Roman. What's up, Bruce? What's up, son? It's like, are you all right? I'm good. I'm a champion, and you're not. And without your bro, you don't do anything. It's like, yeah. It's like, you gotta go for a steak? Nah, I'm with Heyman. It's all legit.
I love how Roman was like pretty much calling him shit, and he's like, yeah, man, like that's cool. Like he just said, like it was like, oh, okay, like really.
Well, you saw how like he's like, like you want to go to Arby's to get the new prime rib, the advertisement in the commercials. It's like, no, it's like me and Paulie are gonna go Red Lobster. It's like, yeah, you can go to Arby's, you can go there. It's like, oh, so but see, like that will kind of like be the theme of it, because he will be added into like the fatal 4-way, because Sheamus kind of insinuated when he injured Big E, it's like, oh, it's gonna be a triple threat. No, turned out to be a fatal 4-way. But see, we got to see this guy. So this is I want your thoughts on this. We got a vignette, something different. We got to see right there. Boom. It seems like Mandy Rose, the type of leg, because of all the like videos that I've seen from her on TikTok. But like, who do you guys think it is? Like, let's start with like Ryan. Like when you see this, and the music was a little bit like Emma-like, but it's not Emma, because Tennille is actually in Impact. But like, who do you think it could be?
I don't even know where to begin to speculate with this, because it's one of those things like I quick look down my phone, that I look back up, I'm like, wait, what the fuck? And I'm like, okay. Because then it's one of those things where you think like, is this just like a regular TV commercial? And it cuts back to, Matt Riddle, like, oh, okay, no, that was a vignette. Like, what the fuck is that? So yeah, I don't even know where to begin speculating on this. Maybe you guys are a bit more informed than I am of who all the hot free agents are right now, so I'll leave the floor to you guys right here.
Paul?
Yeah, this one, it was, I saw a bunch of people. Some people were like, oh, Eva Marie. And I'm like, please, no. Like, are you literally trying to, like, have AEW just take over the wrestling world? If you bring back Eva Marie, like, done. I think it's got to be Tessa Blanchard. Now, I don't know if it is her. I preferred the more gimmick like she had, everywhere else, where she was just like, oh, I'm badass, whatever. Here, walking out with the high heels. And like it looks like the not like a robe, but like whatever, like the fancy coat or whatever, like celebrities wear. The fur coat. To me that's maybe trying to have her be like, oh, I'm a big star.
Yeah.
And then like when she's in the ring, she'll obviously be legit. But I mean, I would say her. If it's her or even Marie, please have it be her, because I can't really think of who else it will be. I mean, that would be interesting for SmackDown, because. That would be something really cool, because then she would be, nothing against Bayley or Sasha, but she would be probably like the big name on SmackDown, and then you have Charlotte on Raw, and then you could eventually have like them feud at Survivor Series,
like,
something like that.
Let's ask Ozzy, like who could possibly be?
Who would do that? Who could possibly do that? Who's the...
You know, like I don't know who that is. You know, like
Yeah.
I agree with you. I have two names. I have Chelsea Green, and I have Tessa Blanchard, because Chelsea, remember, that was kind of like her gimmick on NXT. You know, like fur coat, like, or like ladylike, or like if you think maybe Lacey Evans repackaged.
Oh, that would be so bullshit, because they
That
went
would be
all in
cool,
on her.
but, like, you know,
They
maybe.
went all in on her with like, oh, being a Marine, and I feel like that was over. I mean, not like really over, but it was over enough that you wouldn't change it.
Yeah, but like, so the guys, you know, Robert family right there. We give you like the high heel right there, and then the leg. So if you guys wanna like analyze, like go with like your sources and let us know who that is, we will be really happy for that. But now we go to like Fidel Castro, or like for some people like Sami Zayn returning. I'm really happy with Sami Zayn being back, especially if he's gonna wrestle, because he's a great wrestler. He deserves so much better. You know, his situation, I don't know why he was off TV. Like, I guess he didn't want to wrestle through COVID and everything. But, like, he's such a, like, he deserves so much better. El Generico, he's good. And his Fidel Castro persona, like, I really love it. You know, he reminds me of the days of the revolution in Cuba during the 60s and all of that. So a lot of people died. No. Let's not be like that. Let's not be negative. But, like, he goes to the camera, like, I think the announcer, and also he goes to, like, the operator, and he says, hey, can you really mention me as the Intercontinental Champion? He's like, well, I don't have it in my notes. So, like, Sammy's pretty much cutting a promo about that. But then Jeff Hardy comes out. And Jeff Hardy goes and he says, well, you know, I'm the real Intercontinental Champion. You're not the one. And he says, no. It's like, I'm the one. And, like, if you want a match, you should be asking me. So, like, Jeff Hardy pretty much is saying, like, yeah, well, we can have a match whenever you want. And then the guy that, like, said he had COVID. And because
Alan COVID Jones.
Yep, Alan COVID Jones. He says, hey, you know, guys, like, I should be the Intercontinental Champion. You two are fake. So, pretty much they had an interaction, and I can really see this as a triple threat match at Night of Champions or Clash of Champions.
Yeah, triple threat at Clash of Champions. I'm for it. You know, give these guys 20 minutes to wrestle, bell to bell, and, you know, I'll be whacking. I mean, that will be legit, especially if it's, like, legit wrestling, not Sami Zayn running around on the outside, like, for the whole match again. Like, you know, at WrestleMania, people are like, oh, that was legit. Like, really?
No,
like, really, that was a travesty.
No,
you know, that was so bullshit, especially when you watch Sami Zayn in NXT and then you see that. It's like, that's such a slap in the face.
I like when he did the Haluva kick on Jeff, so that was good. But, like, see, Legend Killer, like, what? Because I know you love Sami Zayn, so, like, let's hear from you.
Yeah, it's great seeing him back on TV. I was just so heartbroken for him when he had to relinquish his first singles title on the main roster. So it's great seeing him back. And yeah, it'd be a legit triple threat match between these three, both extremely talented workers. It's unfortunate seeing how they're treating Sami Zayn. You know, he's the same guy who put on, in my opinion, one of the greatest matches I've ever seen against Shinsuke at TakeOver all those years ago. But hopefully this is the start of something for him, just something they can really sink his teeth into, because when you give him a chance to run with something and just let him be him, he's fantastic. You know, you might say he's phenomenal. Not to take away from AJ Styles, but Sami Zayn is phenomenal.
From Alan COVID Jones. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, absolutely true. So, like, yeah, I'm really forward to. That will be probably one of my favorite matches if that happens at the Clash of the Champions or Clash of Champions or Night of Champions, however you want to call it. I think that's going to be absolutely fantastic. So now let's go to, like, the goddess that actually now is, you can call her like Harley Quinn, because pretty much she had like a thing right there, like, say, like, she's acting like Harley Quinn right there. And Nikki Cross is like the girl that like had the movie with. I saw that movie. It was actually nice. Like, it was not bad. And with like Margot Robbie, I think is her name.
Oh, Birds of Prey.
Yeah, Birds of Prey. Yeah, like she's acting
whatever
like,
it is. Yeah,
like Harley Quinn, and she actually apologized to Nikki for breaking the cup from last week. And you know, I think that like they're still trying to play that situation with the Fiend. You know, and talking about the Fiend, guys. So, like, you both of you summarize, he actually like, hey guys, what's up, Robert family? So yeah, he teased that like there's gonna be a new person arriving to the Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah, and I guess a black sweater is a babyface, because like he had that last week and he had it again this week, and it's like, I would say ever since he lost the title, he now turned babyface. Yeah, and I think hopefully when whoever it is, whether it's Eric Rowan or somebody else, whoever. You know, maybe it'll be Alexa Bliss. Maybe it won't actually be a new person. I think it'll just be Alexa Bliss. But hopefully, you know, just do something with the Fiend. Feud him with somebody else. You know, have him be away from the title picture. Maybe you even make him the Intercontinental Champion at some point. I know a lot of people will probably be like, oh, that's kind of bullshit, but hey, whatever. You know, like, let Roman run through everybody, and then eventually you can put the Fiend back in the title picture. But I'm fine with this. I know a lot of people wanted the Fiend to be like, oh, you didn't pin me. I want a rematch. No, because he would just lose to Roman again. So we don't want to see that. Just have the Fiend and Roman be like, you know, opposite, and then they can eventually cross paths.
Absolutely. Ryan?
Yeah, I think that my prediction is Alexa Bliss, because then if you go back to that promo with Ramblin' Rabbit there in the background, and it looks as if Alexa in her pigtails, it looks like she's got some dreads starting to form. So that might be maybe just a little sign. But right now, I'm fine with keeping the Fiend away from any title. You know, I know he said, oh, he lost his toy, so maybe they're kind of playing into maybe the Fiend needs something. But I'm fine with just, you know, maybe keep him not on the lowdown, but maybe just kind of keep him in like a main upper card feud, just away though from any sort of titles. Like, don't put him in the Intercontinental, don't put him with Roman. You know, do something with, and maybe when AJ's on with the Intercontinental, maybe do Fiend AJ. But I think right now, just kind of keep him on the down low, then maybe start building something up for the Hell in a Cell Survivor Series time.
Yeah, you need to like really rebuild the guy, because every time he's up, he goes right back down. You know, in seconds.
I could, you know, if I'm putting some pieces in place, you know, when you say stuff, I would say Sami Zayn wins and should be the new Intercontinental Champ. Somehow AJ makes a claim, and then he's the next to challenge Roman after, you know, spoiler alert, Uso loses. And then I would say Jeff Hardy could go with the Fiend, you know, face paint, you know, the Enigma versus the Fiend. I think that would be really, like, just a really appealing looking match. When you see the Fiend and Jeff Hardy in the makeup, that would just look really cool.
That would rule absolutely cool. Yeah. And that's a great call from both of you guys. So good stuff. I think that if they do that, at least Fiend can like rebirth, you know, research from like the third time already. So like, can you please not kill the poor guy, Goldberg, Roman? Come on, guys. But anyway, Fatal 4-Way time. This was actually quick, but to the point. Like, everybody got their spots in. It was actually intense. It was good. But in the end, you know, the one that like was not supposed to win at all, the one added into the thing, ended up winning, and that was actually it was Jamie Uso. You know, so like, it was good. I mean, I don't understand the point of this, but like, pretty much it's like, oh, you're gonna feud it like with Roman because there's family and all of that. But I don't know. I just like, I don't see this being like even like a main event. You know, for me, like, I don't know what it is. I can actually predict that it's not gonna be the match at Clash of Champions. They're gonna change that. They're gonna change that, because it cannot be. I don't see this being like a championship match. At least for me. What about you guys? What do you guys think?
No, go ahead, Ryan.
It's a weird match to book. It's weird how Jay is treating it like Roman's like not a heel. It's really awkward the way that they're booking it, because, you know, like you touched upon it earlier in the show, where it's just like, you know, hey, Oos, you know, what's up? But and he's like, just fuck off, dude. But Jay's just like, yeah, all right, cool. So it's weird the way they're booking it. And one thing to note that I thought was weird about the way that they did the timing of the show was that Riddle came out, but then they did the vignette of the female. Yeah. They did the Funhouse. They did the Alexa Bliss backstage. And then they went back to the other entrance. Like, well, why did Riddle come out so soon then?
Yeah. But, second week in a row.
Yeah, it's awkward.
And they did a slow motion for Matt Riddle when he was throwing like the sandals, like it like. And I just came out in the ring. Yeah,
it was a fine match. Like Sean Paul said, you could kind of tell that once Jay was put into the match, like, okay, Jay's gonna win it. It's gonna be. I just don't know how they're gonna do this, because are you gonna book Jay to maybe get some moves in on Roman at Clash of Champions if they do have it there? Because you gotta think it's just gonna be a squash match. Like, you can't look at them and see the way they've been booked over the past decade. I mean, the Usos have been a fantastic tag team, but individually, I don't see him really stepping up to Roman. Like, it's got to be a squash match. It's got to be.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with you, Ryan. Yeah, Paul.
I think this is another one of the things. Like I said, Paul Heyman is the goatee to prove that Roman Reigns is now evil instead of babyface, And I think this is going to be the final nail in the proverbial coffin. This is going to be, he took out his family, the bloodline. Like, what did he do? Like, now he's clearly a heel. This match I think, is going to be a Clash of Champions. I don't think it's going to be the main event. Even though Vince, he loves Roman, he always puts him in the main event. I think, the match with Drew and Randy Orton is going to be main event just because that story is a lot better. So that's why I think they'll have this match and they'll just be like, okay, yeah, whatever, it's legit. Because it's a throwaway match. Any of these four guys in this match who would have won it would have been a throwaway match. There was no, big money match or big money contender coming out of this. Because like I said, I think their stock right now is in Big E because there is no big star on SmackDown when you really think about it. AJ's in the mid card. He's really the only other big star I can think of besides Daniel Bryan, who's not on the show, and the Fiend is done, and Jeff Hardy. But again, they're in the mid card, so I think they're going to have this match. I think at Clash of Champions, the Gold Rush or whatever bullshit they're calling it, because everything has to have a tag. I think Uso will kind of get beaten down. Then he'll be like, "Oh, Roman's a heel. I really need to fight him." He'll get a little bit of a comeback. Maybe Paul Heyman gets involved, Superman punch, spear done, wreck everything, leave, okay, I'm good. But, it is what it is. The only thing I really didn't like about the match is, like you said, Matt Riddle comes out. It's like, okay, 17 segments later, King Corbin comes out and he's like, this is bullshit, man. No, sit me down. And then, like, another 7 segments and you're like, is the match ever going to happen? And then, like,
the worst thing, like, tell example, who got pinned?
And then, and then the guy, the next Shawn Michaels, he's going to be booked like Keith Lee. They both have the rocket strapped on them. They're going to be pushed to the moon. No, we'll just get Matt Riddle to just get pinned by a guy who's going to get probably beaten in like a 6-minute match.
Yeah, and that's pretty much like the show. But for the ones that were asking what happened with the briefcase, we have what happened. We have the results right here from the news.
Oh yeah, that's right. How could we forget? Maybe because it's a bullshit
that's why we never forget. Robert never leaves anything on. So we actually went into the locker room and we said, "What happened with you, Otis and Tucker?" He's like, "Oh yeah." He never lose the contract. He actually switched this lunchbox and the contracts. We switched them up. They say, "Don't worry, Tacky. I'm good." Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So Morrison is actually opening this and he finds them Morris's lunch. And he was about to eat that turkey and Swiss, I think it was, Ryan, right? And extra mayo, extra spicy brown mustard. Yeah, right there. But the Miz you can see the Miz spicy brown mustard.
Miz is like, who made that, Ludi? He's like, what?
Who made that? Yeah, it wasn't Tom or Ryan. Tom the All-American, no. So he's like, don't even. So that was pretty much the show, family. I think it was a pretty eventful SmackDown. I think the Bayley turning, that was extremely great. And maybe what's going to happen with Alexa Bliss, who's this girl that we're going to see right there? Is it going to be Tessa? Is it going to be Chelsea Green? Is it going to be, whoever else? Lacey Evans? Is it going to be, Nia Jax? She got a lipo or something. No, we don't know who that's going to be. But that's important because at least the show gets a little bit interesting as the weeks go by. For Ryan's sake, I hope that the Roman thing gets better. Because for me, I'm already done. I'm already done. The show started, I'm done. Because Roman, to me, with Heyman, I don't understand the pairing yet. But let's hope that next week they have another opportunity to make me understand. So your closing thoughts on this, Ryan?
Well, I thought just one last thought about that Fatal 4-Way because I feel like they missed a major opportunity to really cement Roman's heel turn because it was about 9:55 when Jay got the pin. So okay, 5 minutes. I think Roman's gonna come down and just beat down Jay. It's gonna be okay, this is legit. This some momentum to this feud. No, Jay just celebrated and said some things to the camera. Then showed the fade to the black. So I feel that was a missed opportunity there. But
yeah,
it's WWE.
It's WWE for you right there. So Jean Paul.
Yeah, it was pretty much like a spoiled ice cream, but then the sprinkles and the hot fudge on top of it were really good. You had the Bayley heel turn, you had the who's this mystery celebrity woman? You already rambled off all the names who it could be. That stuff was good. Yeah, and then Sami Zayn, that triple threat match. Hopefully, please, is going to be good. So there's definitely some stuff on SmackDown that's intriguing. Even Bray Wyatt, who's the guest? Is it Alexa Bliss? Could it be an Isaiah Swerve Scott and they bring back Eric Rowan or somebody like that? We don't know. But, the main bulk of the show, you're just kind of like, really? It's just like, this is typical SmackDown. I thought Daniel Bryan was supposed to be making it legit. Haha, just kidding. He's married to Brie Bella. How legit can he really be? So
yeah, like he has to be in total Bellas and taking care of the kids. Yep. So, Ryan, do me a favor and remind everybody where they can find us in the social media world.
Well, you can watch, like, and subscribe to us on YouTube at The Original Rope Break. Like us on Facebook at Rope Break. Follow us on Instagram at The Original Rope Break. And then on Twitter at The OG Rope Break.
Thank you so very much, Ryan. And like I said, family, we'll be back tomorrow because All Out is on. So, like, a lot of good stuff right there. Like how they moved, like, the match with Britt Baker and Big Swole to the main event, the main show. So, like, the buy-in is going to be a little different. So, a lot of more coverage. It will be tomorrow for that, guys. So, in the name of myself, John Paul and Ryan, we have one more thing that is left to say. And that is...